Week Module 3 Live Classroom Session. This week you are responsible for the following course activities. Readings. Sustaining the Earth, Chapters 11, 12, and 13. Inside the course Human Health, Environmental Effects of Waste, and Air Pollution. Week 03 Environmental Controversy, Waste and Human Health. Week 03 Discussion, Main Topic, Global Warming and Secondary Post. Environmental Issue Project. While there is nothing due this week for your environmental issue project, you should work towards the rough draft of your paper, which is due week 5. Now we will cover some of the main points covered in this week's readings. Structure and science of the atmosphere. The atmosphere consists of several layers with different temperatures, pressures, and compositions. The atmosphere's innermost layer, troposphere, is made up mostly of nitrogen and oxygen, with smaller amounts of water vapor and CO2. Ozone in the atmosphere's second layer, stratosphere, filters out most of the sun's UV radiation that is harmful to us and most other species. Major air pollutants. Carbon oxides. Carbon monoxide, CO, is a highly toxic gas that forms during the incomplete combustion of carbon-containing materials. Nitrogen oxides and nitric acid, nitrogen oxide, NO, forms when nitrogen and oxygen gas in air react at the high combustion temperatures in automobile engines and coal-burning plants. NO can also form from lightning and certain soil bacteria. Major air pollutants. Sulfur dioxide, SO2, and sulfuric acid. About 1/3 of SO2 in the troposphere occurs naturally through the sulfur cycle. Suspended particulate matter, SPM, consists of a variety of solid particles and liquid droplets small and light enough to remain suspended in the air. Major air pollutants. Ozone, O3, is a highly reactive gas that is a major component of photochemical smog. Volatile organic compounds, VOCs, most are hydrocarbons emitted by the leaves of many plants, and methane. Radon, RN, is a naturally occurring radioactive gas found in some types of soil and rock. Sunlight plus cars equals photochemical smog. Mexico City is one of the many cities in sunny, warm, dry climates with many motor vehicles that suffer from photochemical smog. Factors influencing levels of outdoor air pollution. Outdoor air pollution can be reduced by settling out, precipitation, sea spray, winds, and chemical reactions. Outdoor air pollution can be increased by urban buildings, slow wind dispersal of pollutants, mountains, promote temperature inversions, and high temperatures, promote photochemical reactions. Indoor air pollution. Indoor air pollution usually is a greater threat to human health than outdoor air pollution. According to the EPA, the 4 most dangerous indoor air pollutants in developed countries are tobacco smoke, formaldehyde, radioactive radon-222 gas, very small fine and ultrafine particles. Air pollution is a big killer. Each year, air pollution prematurely kills about 3 million people, mostly from indoor air pollution in developing countries. Preventing and reducing air pollution. The Clean Air Acts in the United States have greatly reduced outdoor air pollution from 6 major pollutants: carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxides, sulfur dioxides, suspended particulate matter, less than PM10. Major greenhouse gases. The major greenhouse gases in the lower atmosphere are water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. These gases have always been present in the Earth's troposphere in varying concentrations. Increases in average concentrations of 3 greenhouse gases in the troposphere between 1860 and 2004, mostly due to fossil fuel burning, deforestation, and agriculture. Factors affecting the Earth's temperature. Aerosol and soot pollutants produced by human activities can warm or cool the atmosphere, but such effects will decrease with any decline in outdoor air pollution. Warmer air can release methane gas stored in bogs, wetlands, and tundra soils and accelerate global warming. Effects of global warming. A warmer climate would have beneficial and harmful effects, but poor nations in the tropics would suffer the most. Some of the world's floating ice and land-based glaciers are slowly melting and are helping warm the troposphere by reflecting less sunlight back into space. During this century, rising sea levels are projected to flood low-lying urban areas, coastal estuaries, wetlands, coral reefs, and barrier islands and beaches. Global warming could alter ocean currents and cause both excessive warming and severe cooling. Solutions: reducing the threat. We can improve energy efficiency, rely more on carbon-free renewable energy resources, and find ways to keep much of the CO2 we produce out of the troposphere. Wasting resources. Solid waste, any unwanted or discarded material we produce that is not a liquid or gas. Municipal solid waste, MSW, produced directly from homes. Industrial solid waste, produced indirectly by industries that supply people with goods and services. Hazardous, toxic waste threatens human health or the environment because it is toxic, chemically active, corrosive or flammable. Wasting resources. The United States produces about a third of the world's solid waste and buries more than half of it in landfills. About 98.5% is industrial solid waste. The remaining 1.5% is MSW. About 55% of U.S. MSW is dumped into landfills, 30% is recycled or composted, and 15% is burned in incinerators. Electronic waste, a growing problem. E-waste consists of toxic and hazardous waste such as PVC, lead, mercury, and cadmium. The U.S. produces almost half of the world's e-waste but only recycles about 10% of it. Solutions: reducing solid waste. Refuse to buy items that we really don't need. Reduce, consume less and live a simpler and less stressful life by practicing simplicity. Reuse, rely more on items that can be used over and over. Repurpose, use something for another purpose instead of throwing it away. Recycle, paper, glass, cans, plastics, and buy items made from recycled materials. Burying solid waste. Most of the world's MSW is buried in landfills that eventually are expected to leak toxic liquids into the soil and underlying aquifers. Open dumps are fields or holes in the ground where garbage is deposited and sometimes covered with soil. Mostly used in developing countries. Sanitary landfills, solid wastes are spread out in thin layers, compacted and covered daily with a fresh layer of clay or plastic foam. Long-term storage of hazardous waste. Hazardous waste can be disposed of on or underneath the Earth's surface, but without proper design and care this can pollute the air and water. Deep well disposal. Liquid hazardous wastes are pumped under pressure into dry porous rock far beneath aquifers. Surface impoundments, excavated depressions such as ponds, pits, or lagoons into which liners are placed and liquid hazardous wastes are stored. Achieving a low-waste society. In the U.S., citizens have kept large numbers of incinerators, landfills, and hazardous waste treatment plants from being built in their local areas. Environmental justice means that everyone is entitled to protection from environmental hazards without discrimination. Making the transition to a low-waste society, a new vision. Everything is connected. There is no way for the wastes we produce. Dilution is not always the solution to pollution. The best and cheapest way to deal with wastes are reduction and pollution prevention. By the end of this week you should be able to. Objectives: identify the ways we can reduce waste and pollution by using the 4 R's of resource use: refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle. Describe problems associated with landfills. Define the concept of toxicity. Define mutagen, teratogen and carcinogen. Distinguish between transmissible and non-transmissible diseases. Identify the layers of the Earth's atmosphere. Objectives continued. Summarize scientific consensus regarding the greenhouse effect and global warming, including projections of their long-term effects. Describe ways to slow global warming. Explain the cause and effects of ozone depletion and ways we can slow these changes. Identify indoor air pollutants and their effect upon human health. Identify policies to strengthen the Clean Air Act and the Kyoto Protocol. To receive points for this activity, visit the following site: http://www.recyclingenters.org/. Then use the messages area in the course to send me the following. First line of the message you send should be Week 3 Live Classroom answer. Points will be deducted if this is not the first line in your message for this activity. Next section, 1. Using the website, enter your zip code and provide the address for the recycling center closest to you. 2. Name one item that you can recycle more. 3. Using the website, click on the electronics recycling link, left side of page, and answer: does your state recycle electronics and would you participate? Last line, your full name.